Hi, Dr. Hunter Jones. I am doing a video instead of writing. As you know, I am very weak when it comes to writing. And this article kind of touched me, as you know, I am a parent with special needs. I guess the fact that what stood out to me was it was an article about foster kids. But they weren't typical foster kids. They were foster kids that were special needs and even had AIDS. I didn't even think about kids with AIDS. I don't know why. Just probably because I'm not really around people with that, or people don't really talk about that. It didn't dawn on me. But what stood out was that, and the fact that in the foster care system that they talked about, like, how they categorize the children, like their different levels, and they could be mild or they could be like severe. Even with, let's say, kids with that had, what's the wording? Kids that have a violent level, I guess. I don't want to use that word, but violent level, I guess. Because some special needs are violent. You don't know whether you're going to sleep one day and they're going to bite you. You know what I mean? I've had that happen working with special needs. So it is a big deal, and I'm glad they, categorized it by level, and then they categorized it by, the different parents and everything too. But, like, I guess it stood out to me because most people don't realize how different levels of special needs truly are. And you might be able to handle one level, and then again, you might not be able to handle the most severe. And I think that was good that they put that in the article, and that they do the questions about the different levels of what you can and cannot handle, because some parents can't handle the severe. Like, I'm very blessed. My son is higher functioning, though when he was little, he was very low functioning. So that is what really stood out to me, because if you can't handle it, then that's where, the kid gets replaced, because it doesn't really match the person. And that really hurts the child, as they need to have consistency in their life. And they need to have someone who knows what they're doing to handle them. And they need to help if the parent can't get help. There's different areas where they can get help. I guess what connects me with what I've learned in this social work program, I learned that kids in foster care who have special needs are one of the hardest children to get fostered, like to get even adopted, to get foster care, to get placement, because a lot of people don't know how to handle it or have the financial means to handle it, even though the state kind of helps you with that, I think. I don't know if they really know their resources. There's a lot in Onslow County, I can tell you that. There's not a ton, but there is a lot. And if they have Medicaid, there's even more. They just have to get really put on with Trillium. So I guess that's what really connected me with what I learned, because it's a really hard subject to talk about, because kids, they can't help their special needs, that their parents did drugs, or, something went wrong during conception, and that, this article made me realize that even though that they're special needs, it made me really think that I really want to foster care a child with special needs, because I guess it made me dawn and made me really want to do it more, because of that fact of reading how the different levels and different type of foster parents. They even talked about different education levels with the foster parents. So I think this article made me really want to do it even more, because I don't know, I love special needs. They're the sweetest kids in the world, and the fact that you can have it categorized. They do ask you questions, and maybe it was just for the article, but I'm hoping they do that when they're placing a child with foster care. I don't know if the questions were just, the different variables were just for the article based on the research, but it made me realize this is something that is a dream. Even though I want to work with special needs, I would like to foster care, foster or adopt a child with special needs. Preferably, my goal is someone with Down syndrome, as I don't really think two kids with autism, based on the different levels, they might click, they might not. They might make each other more violent with each other. So I wouldn't mind fostering a kid with autism, but Down syndrome, they're the most lovable people I've ever worked with in my life. They're awesome. They're amazing. And the research concept, I am not going to lie, I've had to read these chapters 2 to 3 times, and it might be because of my dyslexia, or I'm not sure, or just the fact that my ADD counteracts my dyslexia. At first it was like reading a different language, because how they worded the different types of variables in the situation. But the research concepts, I did understand how they did the variables and why, though understanding the variables, how they use them in some ways, were a little confusing to me, as I'm pretty sure they use conceptualizing, but was wondering if this was considered more control because it was based off of foster parents and the different levels of the foster care. So I'm a little confused that they discussed how the different they categorized the different levels of foster kids and stuff like that, and then they'd use different variables with foster parents based on how long they were foster cared, and they based it off of their education. They said typically people who did foster care longer were more accepting of taking like a special needs person, and if they had a higher education. So, but wouldn't that be control too, or I don't know. And they also use demographics, because if they use the demographics and they categorized them because of when they use demographics, they use, I'm assuming this is what I'm saying, right? The demographics are like how long that person's been in, their education, and how long, like, not been in, but how long someone's been foster caring. So I'm assuming that that's what they mean. But based on all this, I realized that I do have, after reading this, and they talked about the education, they categorized everything, I'm hoping I understood the concepts of this. I'm just really not sure if I grasp it all, but I think the I can't pronounce it, validity, I'm assuming that's what it's called. That is what it's called. They use that based off of the numbers they used for I'm trying to think. Remembering the article in my head, but didn't they use that when they're talking about the different types of foster care parents, and how the people who were in the foster care system, the foster parents, were more likely to have a special needs foster child. I'm just wondering. Hopefully I got this right and I understood. I will see you later. Thank you.